Hi guys, my name is Affan Rizki Indrajaya, and right now I will elaborate the learning journey, my mind map of the global economy and international business class at ITMI International Business School. Let's begin. First, we already discussed the long history of global economy in one chart, where there is the shift in GDP from the west to the east. And next, there are also the three pillars of new economy, from cost reduction, better customer service, and transparency and competition. And next, there's also the shifting from VUCA, the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, to tuna. What is tuna? Turbulent, uncertainty, novel, and ambiguous. And next, we also have a discussion about the Schrödinger's cat and disruption era. And here, it explains the two simultaneous movements in the curve S on the disruption curve. And next, there's also the discussion about the global digital economy, how the population of the world is going to be digital and going into the metaverse. And also there is the debate over jobs and wages, where it explains the benefits and in harmful towards globalization. And then the last part of this aspect is the debate over income inequality, where the income inequality within nation, between nation, and globally. Okay, and next we also discuss about the setting standard. There are three possibilities of setting standard: the harmonization of standard, mutual recognition of standard, and separate standard. And according to the labor standard, there is essentially the basic right that is made by the International Labor Office. In here, the case study, the child labor, we can see that in the sub-Saharan Africa has the highest percentage of child labor. And next, there is also discussion in trade and environment, whereas there are the key distinction between the transboundary and non-transboundary problem. And next, the case study is concerning the trade and endangered species. Here, the first important case complained by the Mexico against U.S. prohibition on tuna import. And there's also the alternative of trade measures, as such as the labeling, use of home country standards, and negotiation. And the case study is concerning the global climate change. And here we can see that we need to internalize the external cost of GHG, greenhouse gas, with the usage of carbon tax. And next, I will explain about the tariff and quota. In here, tariff is essentially means as tax on imports and quota as the fiscal limit on imports quantity. The cost of tariff itself, it can come from the retaliation by other countries that will be hindering the innovation and may come for the rent seeking. Next, there is also a discussion about the nominal and effective rate of protection. The nominal is just a tariff rate, and the effective rate of protection is the percentage change in the value added after the tariff is levied. And then there is also the difference and similarities between tariff and quota that is explained in class. And also there's also other form of protection. This is such as complicated custom procedures, health and safety measure, and technical standards. And the last of this part is there is the intellectual property rights consisting of patents, copyrights, and industrial design. And let's move on to absolute and versus comparative advantage. In here, absolute, we use fewer resources than the other country, where the comparative, we can produce at lower marginal costs. And then there's also the cost benefit evaluation for domestic and MNC. In here, it shows where MNC and domestic should stand its position to gain higher benefit. And let's move on to the international taxation. There is the direct tax, indirect tax, and sales tax. And last of this part is the tax havens. As you might know, it is the countries that is hospitable for business due to low corporate income tax. And next, we also learn that there is the factors of affecting currency exchange rate based on our previous class that I already explained in the last mind map class. And then there's also the value of the currency. In here can be found in the trade surplus, trade deficit, and balance of trade. Let's move on to the breakdown and legacy of Bretton Woods. Here it dissolved in 1971, but in the end it established the IMF and World Bank. And for the exchange rate system today, there is the usage of floating and fixed exchange rate system. And then to the next, there are the discussion of the subprime mortgage crisis. In here, it happens when investor lost confidence in the value of securitized home mortgage. And we can see there's also the classification of the prime versus subprime mortgage in the class. And next, there's also the impact of the crisis. We can see the impact of the crisis in the stock market, financial institution, and the economy and the credit market. And the last is the global financial crisis. The key factor in here was the availability of easy money from the Fed. And let's move on. The meaning of international business. There are four types: the domestic, international, multinational, and global business. And hence, there is also the process of globalization. In here, there is from exporting, importing, licensing, strategic alliance, and joint venture. And what is globalization? Globalization can be in form of market and product. There is also the barrier to international communication, such as cultural barriers, source and country of origin effect, and noise levels. And move along, there are the four risks of international business. There is the cultural risk, commercial, country, and currency risk. And we'll also discuss about the theory from the cultures. First is the E.T. Hall high-low context culture, where explains the low context, which rely on explicit explanation, and the high context that is emphasized on nonverbal language. The last theory of culture we can see from the Hofstede typology, which explain the individualism versus collectivism, power distance, uncertainty avoidance, and masculinity versus femininity. Okay, let's move to the three strategic objectives. There are three, which is the efficiency, flexibility, and learning for the international strategy for every company. And it also needs the visionary leadership, a quality of a senior management that provides superior strategic guidance. And then there is also the global integration, where firms make and sell standardized products and services to capitalize on converging customer needs. And then there's also the local responsiveness. In here, it meets the specific needs of buyers in individual countries. And let's move along. There are four strategies from the integration responsiveness framework. First is the home replication strategy. In here, the product designed for domestic customers and international business is pursued to extend the life of domestic product and replicating the home market success. And next is the localization strategy. In here, the product service are adapted to suit the needs and wants of buyer in each country. And next is the global strategy. In here, the global strategy seeks to substantial control over all country operation in order to minimize redundancy. And the last of the strategies is the transnational strategies. It is similar with the localization, but it retains sufficient central control of operation. Okay, let's move to the last part of our discussion. It is the international marketing. And here we'll learn about the market segmentation, where the process of dividing the firm's total customer base into homogeneous cluster. And then there's also the discussion about standardization and adaptation. Standardization is make marketing programs elements uniform. And on the other hand, the adaptation, it modifies the marketing program to accommodate specific customer needs. And move along to the factors affecting international pricing. In here, the nature of market and product, the type of distribution system, and location of production facility, all affecting the international pricing. And then there's also three pricing strategies from the rigid cost plus strategies, flexible cost plus strategies, and incremental pricing. And there's also the gray marketing. In here, gray marketers buy the product at low price in one country, import it into another country, and sell it there at a higher price. And there are three employee categories in the M&E. First is the host country nationals, parent country nationals, and the third country nationals. And last but not least, we have the discussion about the international human resource management. It is spread from international staffing, training employee, performance appraisal, compensation benefit, interacting with labor union, and last, diversity in workforce. And that is all from me about the mind map from global economy and international business. Hope you enjoy and learn from it. Thank you.